Good morning, guys. We are at Natural Bridge State Park, about to go on a great tour with our rangers over here. So let's go and explore Natural Bridge State Park here in Lexington, Virginia. Well, right outside of Lexington, Virginia. This is your arrival parking lot. You also have Natural Bridge Hotel over there, looking very patriotic. Yeah, let's go tour. Let's go tour.
So again, my name is Kenny. I'm our Chief Ranger of Visitor Experience here at Natural Bridge. And we're a pretty new state park as of 2016. And believe it or not, we've got a lot of local community ties. That's why this cow is standing behind me. I know everyone has questions about the cow. The cows, yep. As I already told some folks, it's a county-wide fundraising opportunity. There's a local community group that creates these and then they auction them off. And you get bragging rights and the fiberglass cow if you raise the most money. So it's one of our many different community events that we put on. Pretty soon we're going to have our Festival of Trees. If you guys are in the area for the Christmas season, we have local businesses come out, they decorate trees. You vote for your favorite by putting donations to local charities underneath them. So that's a lot of fun. To see the Natural Bridge, or at least that's what you thought. Today you're actually going to see something else. I usually like to introduce this one with a little bit of a riddle, and we'll see how long it takes our group this morning to get it. Everyone had their coffee, right?
Yes. Yep.
Everyone's ready?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So, I'm something that you can watch fly by, but I've got no wings. What am I? Any guesses? Oh, what'd you say?
Time.
Time. First
Am
guess.
I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah. So, you guys are actually here not just to see the Natural Bridge, but you're here to see the power of time. So the bridge and even the valley that we're standing in, it was all created just through the passage of time. Small forces at work on a grand scale, give them a lot of time, and they can create some pretty impressive things. So for example, just in the distance, you've got the Blue Ridge Mountains. And actually, right over there, where you see the little, looks kind of like a giant radar dish, that's Apple Orchard Mountains. That's the highest point on the Blue Ridge Parkway in the state of Virginia. Now, believe it or not, this area where we're standing used to be about as tall as that. However, over several million years, we've actually been weathered down to this level. We're in a large limestone valley. The rocks that make up the Blue Ridge are a lot sturdier, so they've managed to stand the test of time a little better. So that's just one example of the effects of time we're going to see today. Yep. Yep. First private owner. All right. So this begins as we go down. A lot of people get tunnel vision. They want to get right to the very end and get down and see the bridge, but we've actually got a waterfall that parallels the stairs here. This is Cascade Falls. It was actually running underneath us earlier, and it comes out of the rock face just behind us and goes for the next about 150 feet of our descent. So make sure you're watching that too. It's pretty fantastic. You don't need to go all the way to the end of the trail to see a waterfall here.
Really nice. So about how long does it take to get to the bottom of the trail from the top?
From up there to down here?
Mm-hmm.
Usually most people do it in about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Coming up takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But
sounds about right.
Yeah, we've got spots to pull off and rest.
Nice.
A lot of people will take their time coming up.
So before, when it was privately owned, it was open to the public, but did you have to pay to get in here? Like, yes. How did he make, so that's how he made money off of it. Okay, cool.
Yes, there was an admission fee. There were lot of stuff was actually owned by the same group. So the hotel, the caverns, and the natural bridge were all owned by the same company.
Okay.
Right now, the hotel and caverns are still privately owned under the same company. They're kind of the hole in the middle of the donut, is what our park manager says.
Is this the oldest?
Parks all around them. Yep, so this is the oldest tree in the park. Unfortunately, in the 1980s, when the private owners put in this stairway here, the concrete actually killed the very shallow roots of this tree. It would probably be the oldest of its kind in the country if it hadn't died back then. It's about 1,600 years old. The current record holder for the northern white cedar is about 1640. This guy just missed it.
How can you tell the age of a tree?
If you go inside, you can actually look at the rings, and these actually grow at about an inch in diameter every, can take up to 30 years. So if you imagine about that much in addition every 30 years gets you to this height. I mean, these are all actually northern white cedars. So the next closest place you find them is actually upstate New York and Michigan. So believe it or not, these trees are time travelers. The only reason we have them is because the Ice Age happened, and it ended about 11,000 years ago. But because we're in this gorge down here, cold air actually sinks. So the valley around us will get cold in the winter, but down here it gets especially cold. So these more northern species were able to hang on and survive.
Cool.
That's just another weird little quirk of time's passage here at Natural Bridge. I'll kind of walk with you guys to the far side, and then we'll go over the facts and figures of what you're looking at. But if you have questions while we're walking, just come up and grab them. So like I said, can't compete with it, so not gonna do it.
All right, guys, so we've made it at the Natural Bridge. Just when you think that you've seen Mother Nature in its glory, you then look up. Wow, there's an entire natural bridge directly above. Look at that. This place is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's so old, this is the one that blows all the kids' minds. It's so old you don't even find dinosaur bones in the stone. It's between 500 and 400 million years old.
I wonder what the dinosaurs thought about this.
Yeah. They were like, that's pretty cool, I guess. What's that big rock up there? But yeah, a lot of people, pretty incredible to think, how did this all come together? And if you actually listen, you can hear it's still happening right now. So Cedar Creek is actually the reason we have the natural bridge today. About 1 million to 1.5 million years ago, we had a small sinkhole that opened up just outside where the park is, right about where the interstate is today, and it stole away the waters of Cedar Creek from another water system and started shoveling it underground. It was very fast moving. Originally, it was all the way up there, but over the course of about 1 million years, it kind of wound this place down to where it is today. And slowly, as the rest of the roof system couldn't take it, you can see how wide the gorge is. The roof actually collapsed into the underground river, and then the stones that were that roof, because they were all that limestone, they got worn away as well. So the natural bridge is the only part of that roof system that remains. So,
limestone too, yeah?
Yep, that's all limestone. So really we should be calling it the natural roof, but it just doesn't sound as cool as the natural bridge. Yeah, and it is actually still getting deeper. It's happening at a scale that we can't really perceive, but slowly over time, this waterway is still digging into the stone, and it's getting a little bit deeper every year.
How many feet you said it was again?
So from here, here to the surface that you can see, it's about 150 feet, and then all the way to the top, it's 214. So it's pretty big. Yeah, when you start your tour at the Natural Bridge Caverns, you're actually starting just over that direction. We're about on the same level as where you enter them, just for reference.
Can you describe the caverns tour? Because I haven't done that.
Haven't been on it myself, but they take you down, they try to keep it to a tight hour, and a guide will take you the entire way down through the about 34 stories. And at one point, they'll even turn the lights off on you for a few minutes so you can experience cave darkness.
So is it like going to like Moray or something?
A little bit, but not as big.
Okay.
Moray is really wide.
Yeah.
This is just kind of tunnels down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't done
Yeah, there's no organ that's played by stalactites
that.
here.
Weird. Are there migrating bats in those caves?
Not in the caverns over here, I believe, but in some of the caves around here, yeah. And they'll actually kind of overwinter there.
Can you also say how many school buses again?
It's about 2,500 if you crushed them down.
Did you already mention how many visitors you guys see each year?
No, but last year I think our visitation was a bit over 200,000, so maybe 220,000 I think.
Okay.
But it's been increasing every year, especially since the end of COVID. Yeah, we stay busy.
So do you know if the people that come in to see, like, I'm just curious, this is probably an answer you may not know, or maybe you may know, but do you, like, I'm sure people come here specifically for this because you have a hotel, you've got all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
How many of those people actually, like, go and do other stuff in the area? Do you know if they're, like, exploring downtown Lexington and, like, figuring it out, or are they just here, like, yay, Natural Bridge, we did it?
I'd say it's probably about 75-25. 75% of people are just hopping off the interstate.
Okay.
They come to see us. They might stop in the area for food or to see another attraction and they leave. The other 25% are coming for a full day. So they're coming to see not just the bridge, but also maybe the zoo or the safari park and Dino Kingdom too. That's all kind of stuff that's within the same little driving distance.
Right. So we operate under the information system. Okay, so they can try it out. Be like, this is really cool area, like it feels okay, I was just curious about that. And then how often are guided tours? Are we special?
Usually you just call and request one. We can get a ranger guide. We're pretty flexible usually, so we can kind of accommodate whatever you'd like to hear about on the tour.
Okay.
So long as we've got it here on the trail, we'll be willing to talk about it.
But you don't have like 11 o'clock on Saturdays, there's always a ranger tour?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We've just found that ties a staff member up with the same small group of maybe 20, and then they're stuck with them for an hour. They get a really great experience, but then all the other people who are passing by, the other 2,000 people who are there at the same time, miss out. So we're trying to figure out ways we can do additional programs. We've got a small interactive exhibit area in the basement of the visitor center called our base camp. That's kind of people's introductions to the wildlife and watersheds here in the park, and that operates on the weekends too. And that's how we capture a lot of family groups and do some education too. Because again, can't really compete with this. I could stand right here with a megaphone all day and talk to people, and they wouldn't remember a thing I said, but they'd remember how cool the bridge was. All right. Just a second, and then I'll kind of hang out in the gift shop with you to answer any last-minute questions. But, yeah.